Yo guys, welcome to the video. This is Josh or Milky, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the latest Path of Exile league, the Settlers of Kalguur. Now, it is a completely different league than I think we've ever seen before, and it's providing some opportunities that we've definitely not seen before, at least since I've been playing Path of Exile since Perendus League. And that is in the forms of automation, or in some cases, maybe just delayed gratification, but we'll talk about that later on. But first of all, this channel, obviously, for Path of Exile content, normally goes over the league mechanic, currency related stuff. I don't tip my toes too much into the build stuff, so for any patch note things, that's probably not going to be the focus of this video. What I'm going to go over specifically today is what I think about the league mechanic and its implications for the game. So to start out, what is the league mechanic? Well, it is a Farmville simulator. You can finally, Path of Exile does its take on Farmtown. Well, we get to go in and build our own town. The Kalguurans have come over and they're looking for a place to settle, and it's going to be up to you to build up the town. Now, from a gameplay perspective, what this means is you're going to be trying to generate gold and ore in order to both build and upgrade the stations in your town. This could be either to provide workers that are going to harvest that ore faster for you, or to disenchant armors or any item of any rarity to get some dust that is a resource used to do things like recombinate, which is a feature that's coming back, albeit a little bit nerfed. Then we have other things like smelting the ore into bars. All of it comes together basically to mean your time spent mapping is to generate a resource that you are then going to use your town to the best of your ability to transform into another resource that you send away for any your chosen amount of time. And after that allotted time, you're going to receive back a cache of loot. So from a gameplay perspective, the maps, they're going to have some encounters that is basically 5 different ones, 4 of which are kind of stand in circle, kill monster, each with a different theme. Color code it if you want, yellow, blue, red, green, it doesn't matter. Monsters are going to spawn, you're going to kill them, and you're going to set your workers to work to harvest all the ore that they leave behind. Now, on the 5th time, you might find a little hole in the ground that you're going to go into and fight a monster who can drop the runes, which can be used to enchant very powerful affixes on your weapons, or various other things. A lot of gold was mentioned by Mark in the Q&A. So 5 different encounters that is going to break up mapping a little bit, so there is some in-map features to this mechanic, as well as the kind of micromanagement of your town. So what am I going to be doing immediately? Well, it's definitely going to be to get the town up and running as fast as possible, the best way I know how to do, because this is a level of automation and passive divine income, or whatever you want to call it, that we haven't really seen in Path of Exile before. You can now actually not only send off these ships that are going to bring back your loot, which in some ways is more like delaying the loot. If the in-map encounter doesn't drop all that much and it just provides the ore, then this can be seen more as a delay for how you get the loot, and it's going to be determined by how good you are at managing your farm. However, there is a way to actually automate mapping. You're going to get 3 stations that we've seen where you're going to be able to send off your workers to farm maps for you. So you can farm any map you choose based on the strength of the workers you decide to put in there, and they're going to bring back loot specific to the map you've chosen to put them in. Now, I don't know how smart these workers are going to be. Mark alluded to the fact, well, they don't have loot filters, and they don't know what's good to pick up and whatnot. So we'll see what they end up bringing back. But if you send them into a Crimson Temple, Crimson Temple doesn't exist on this layout, but for example, if you send them to a map that has the Apothecary card, they could bring back an Apothecary. So passive map farming while you're doing your thing sounds good to me. Now, this doesn't all happen. You do still have to play the game. It was mentioned, of course, that all these resources, all this gold is necessary to keep your town up and running. It can't be fully automated without you ever touching the game. Otherwise, why run maps? Just set it to go and collect your divines every now and again, and you're going to be all good. So this is a level of automation that, of course, we haven't seen, and getting it set up initially to me seems like it's going to be very important, because the level of inflation could be quite crazy. If a percentage of the player base have 18 additional maps being run in the time it takes them to do 3, yeah, is obviously going to be a boatload of rewards, even if the AI or whatever is being used to run these maps for you isn't the smartest. So definitely going to be my first port of call to get that town up and running, and I obviously will be sharing with you guys how I choose to do that. If I can get a good one set up initially, I'll definitely be doing so. It's going to be what I rush out, because that's just going to pay dividends later on. Now, the other thing, the shipping is based on the resources that you get, the ore. The other one, you just have to pay the workers. You have to find the good ones, pay them. This is based on the resources that you get in the maps that you then have mined for you. You can then smelt them into better resources, and you can choose to send those resources to different ports allotted around Rayclast or even further beyond. You can send them away, and after an allotted amount of time, you do get to choose this time, by the way. Mark said anywhere from 1 to 10 hours, and then they will bring back rewards. And this reward could be based on the specific place that you send them. Each place wants different things, and if you send them a specific thing that you want, they're going to send you more stuff back. They're also going to send you the runes back that are going to be very, very powerful. Obviously, getting those incredible unique modifiers enchanted onto your weapons is going to be huge. So this is going to be, at least in my estimation, a very, very good way for you to make currency, and with quite low effort. If it's initially, maybe there's going to be some investment, obviously, in not mapping. You're going to have to spend a lot of time doing your town, but on a whole, you're probably going to get to the point where everything's pretty automated. You've got really strong workers that do everything super fast, and then you send them off to do their thing. And one thing I'm excited about is getting to the end of a day, being like, all right, time to go to bed. Send 3 ships off. 3 is the maximum you can do. Send 3 ships off to the furthest reaches of the realm, all juiced out as far as you can, and 10 hours later, you wake up, you've got a coffee, and you've got a boatload, literally a boatload of loot in front of you. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun to do. Now, one thing this does beg the question is for players that don't play as much. At one point, he mentioned that you could farm for a week to send off the most, and obviously we don't know which kind of person he's referring to when he says spend a week. If I spend a week farming and it takes me a week to get a maxed out boat, well, that's a problem because I play way too much. So for the people that don't play as much, it may seem like this is meant to be kind of a baseline, something that everyone can get involved in, everyone's going to get it back. But the thing is, if you still have to play the game, you still have to have a ton of gold, you still have to have a ton of these resources, then you're still going to get rewarded for playing an awful lot, albeit you're still going to get stuff if you don't. But it does seem to me that at least the shipping side of things feels like more of a delay of the loot. Not in a negative way, but it seems like more of a delayed thing than what we would typically see in the maps. And I quite like it. I think it's quite cool. Now, the other massive thing that, of course, comes with the Settlers of Kalguur is the trade house, the currency exchange. This is something I've been begging for so long, and that is a commodity-only trade house, and they finally pulled the trigger. I think a lot of people have been asking for this, myself included. Just let us trade for commodities. It doesn't matter if you can't do rares. Just let us trade for things that they're indistinguishable from one another. A Chaos Orb is a Chaos Orb. Let us trade for them in the game, and they finally did it. It is going to cost you gold. I don't know if there's going to be a listing cost. We don't know the specifics, but basically it seems like you're going to be able to use gold, list your items, and people can just buy them normally. And it even pulls from your stash, so you don't have to have everything in your inventory. You can literally just have stuff in your stash, and it's going to all fill up. You want to convert something? Set it to go do a map. Hopefully when you get back, it's all come in. And for me, anything that lets me stay in my map and not have to go trade, answering whispers, like being ignored by people when I whisper them, or someone gets there and then they put some random currency in the tab. Anything that stops all this nonsense, for me at least, is a massive improvement for the game. Then finally, we do have obviously recombinators coming back. I did briefly mention them earlier, but you can recombinate items in the new place. It does show that it requires a pretty hefty gold fee, as well as this new dust. And this dust comes from disenchanting any quality of item, whether it's magic, rare, unique. That's going to determine how much of this dust you get back. So again, you're going to have to play the game to engage with the recombination system. You can't just kind of sit in your hideout and do nothing. Well, I guess you could buy items to disenchant, or you could even get gold and then gamble at the item gambler to get more items. You can see from this here, you can trade for any base type you like and just keep rolling it to get items. You could do that if you want, and then disenchant those. There are ways to probably get around playing the game. I'm not sure if there's any way to get around the gold costs. You probably have to play the game to get gold, so you can't maybe 100% hideout warrior this, although I know some of you will try, and I wish you all the best. This seems like a hideout warrior's dream if it's possible. But yeah, that's going to be my quick take and TLDR of the league mechanic. I think this league is going to be phenomenal. Everything they've shown so far gets me very excited. I'll be updating all the Atlas trees. I'll be releasing a sheet with Atlas trees recommended for league start. I'll obviously update stuff as I go as to what I'm farming. I'll have videos on all the new ways I'm upgrading my town and getting myself ready to be fully automated where I can go to bed and wake up to 3 ships of loot. Oh, it's going to be exciting. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.